Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to our video series about, kind of tips and tricks for your first time traveling to Japan. Sorry for the missed content last week. Me and the entire family were battling the flu, and from the few videos I did post up, you could hear the raspiness in my voice starting to come back. I'm feeling better. But yeah, so I wrote the script today for Shibuya. We've done Shinjuku, we've done Akihabara, we've done Tokyo as a whole, and just some other cool things about Japan. And now we're on to Shibuya. So there's a script, and then there's going to be me going off script, obviously, as I always do. But, cool places to go, things to see while you're in Shibuya. Of course, the obvious one is the Scramble, the big giant crosswalk in the middle of Shibuya. That, funny enough, on my first trip to Japan, I knew about the Shibuya Scramble. Because it seems like before I went on that trip, it was known but not super popular. But it's kind of like since I've done that trip, it is like a big talking point about Japan. So I knew about it, but I wasn't. It was kind of funny because on our first day in Japan, we were staying in Shibuya. Keenan and I were up really early, and we were just looking for a place to eat. And I think I mentioned this in a previous video that they don't stuff doesn't open up that early. You would think how busy and work culture that Japan is, that there would be diners and stuff opened up really early in the morning, kind of like how it is in America. But they're kind of few and far between. They're not as prevalent as one would think in a big city. So Keenan and I were up pretty early, and we were just kind of wandering around looking for someplace to eat. We were just Google mapping stuff and just trying to find things and someplace to eat breakfast other than McDonald's. And on our adventure, I can't remember if this was before or after we ate breakfast, we walked through the Shibuya Scramble. But it was so early in the morning that it wasn't busy. People weren't arriving at Shibuya Station and going to work, and the tourists weren't up yet and, doing the touristy things. And it was funny because we walked right through it and didn't even realize it. And then it was kind of I looked around, I was like, this looks really familiar. But I was like, oh, well, I was too preoccupied with wanting to eat. So we just kind of went on. Yeah, it had to have been before I ate. And we just kind of went on. And then when we came back later in the day, after getting food and people were coming and going, as we walked through, I was like, oh, crap, Keenan, we just literally walked through the Shibuya Scramble, and it wasn't chaotic or busy or anything. And it just kind of blew our mind. And I really wish I had realized it when we walked through it the first time, because then, I could have taken a picture of ooh, it's empty and it's daylight out. But, hindsight's 2020. So that was kind of the most hysterical first impressions of Japan, kind of thing like that. Something that's known for being hectic and busy. We saw it for the first time, calm and collective. So, and then, so while you're in the Scramble and you're near Shibuya Station, another monument to check out is the bronze statue of Hachiko. It's a little Akiba dog, maybe the most famous dog ever. A bronze statue was erected in his honor in 1934. He was actually at the unveiling at Shibuya Station. And just kind of the tale goes why this dog is so famous, if you haven't heard of him, is he would meet his owner, Ueno, at Shibuya Station every day when Ueno would come back from teaching at Tokyo University. And so he just did it every day. One day while Ueno was at work, he died of a cerebral hemorrhage. And this was on May 21st, 1925. And from that day until the dog's unfortunate passing of March 8th, 1935, Hachiko would go to the station every day and wait for his owner. And the dog is revered in Japan for just its undying loyalty, because that's amazing. I know my dogs love me. I'm pretty sure after I die, if I die before them, they're not going to wait for me every day. They'll probably eventually forget about me, even though I'm the only one who feeds them in the house. So Yeah, it was just again that was something. It's very packed and popular, but again, something Keenan and I stumbled upon early in the morning looking for food, and I had heard about Hachiko, but it wasn't something that was like sticking out in my mind that oh the statue is there in Shibuya. I just remember I think I heard the tale in like elementary school, so it wasn't something that I was like cognitively aware of until like I saw the statue and I read the tale and the statue. I was like, wait a second, I know this story. So yeah, so it's normally packed when you go there. So getting photos with it is difficult, or at least photos of just you with it are pretty difficult. But if you're like me and Keenan, super jet lagged, super hungry early in the morning looking for food, you will stumble across it. There will be no one there. You can take a nice photo of it. So that is always kind of a fun thing to do. Like especially if you're in Shibuya and you're jet lagged, go to the crossing, go see Hachiko first thing in the morning when you're jet lagged, and no crowds, and it'll be kind of a cool experience. A lot cooler with less people. So, food and drink kind of thing like that. There was this restaurant Keenan and I found that I think on our first day we went to for lunch, may have been the second day. It was sushi. I'm going to say it wrong probably. Dade O Koya. It was a conveyor belt sushi place. Went to it on our first trip. And ironically, that was a weird way to say that. So we went to it on our first trip in Shibuya. And because I thought this first trip was a once in a lifetime trip, I didn't bother writing down the name of the place or anything like that. I think Keenan and I went to it twice actually on our trip, but it was one of those things I didn't, bother memorizing what the place was called or anything like that. Because again, it's, I thought I was only going to go to Japan one time. And so 2 years later, I'm back in Japan with my son Sean, and I'm in Shibuya, and I want to go there. But I'm like, oh no, I don't remember what it's called. But I'm going to chalk this up to my Viking heritage, my impeccable sense of direction. I was actually able to find it, kind of like retracing my steps from 2 years prior. And him and I were able to like eat at this place together. It was his first time at the conveyor sushi belt place, so he was super excited to try it out. So a little history on it. It was founded in 1979. It was Shibuya's first conveyor belt sushi place, and I was kind of like trying to allude to this, but I screwed up the script in the previous paragraph. But it was ironically or coincidentally my first time ever going to a conveyor sushi belt place. So that was pretty awesome. But sadly, like the Katsu restaurant I was telling you all about in Shinjuku, in my Shinjuku video, this place is closed down too as a victim of COVID. I'm starting to feel like I'm like the grim reaper of small little Japanese restaurants. I might just stick to chains on this trip. I don't want to like destroy a family's lifestyle or anything like that. But good news. There is good news for this one. They do have a second location. It's in Senagaya, which is about an 10-minute drive. So if you hop a cab or Uber, you can go check it out as well. Really good sushi. If you look at the Google reviews, it's like a 3.7 or a 3.9. You're like, oh, how is it going to be really good if it's that? I have recently learned that in Japan, anything a 3 or above on Google reviews is like a 5 in America, because the Japanese people, I guess, are so meticulous and so picky about the restaurants and things like that when it comes to service and food presentation and things like that. They really grade harshly with their Google reviews. So it's not quite the same as us Americans with our reviews. And then, if you need a quick caffeine jolt, there's the famous Starbucks in the middle of the scramble. When you go to the scramble, you'll see the big Starbucks sign. Can't miss it. I've never had coffee at this one, but I believe that is like the famous one that has all the special roasts and things like that. I know it's a place Keenan wants to check out on our next trip, because we wanted to do it on our last trip, but didn't make our way to there. So this time we'll try it out and I'll report back. We'll probably film something there of us trying some specialty Starbucks drinks. And of course, there's plenty of bars around Shinjuku and animal cafes. If you want to do like an owl cafe, cat cafe, anything like that, they've got a ton of them in Shibuya. You can just walk around and stumble into them. Those are kind of tourist trappy. There's a cover charge, and then the food and drink there are a little more expensive. But if you want to hang out with a bunch of animals on your trip, more power to you. I've never partaken in one of those. Maybe that'll be one of those things I try for the first time on this trip. So as far as shopping goes, there's a really cool Disney store in Shibuya. It's got a really cool interior. Like it goes from like a regular Disney store, and then there's like almost like Snow White's cabin kind of thing like that. There's a bunch of different rooms, different floors. It's a really cool experience, and like it's almost like a Disney store that you would find in Disneyland, not at like a mall or anything like that. So it's definitely unique. So if you're a Disney fan and you aren't going to be able to go to Tokyo Disney, it's not quite the same, but it's still a cool shop to go look at, and you can get Tokyo exclusive Disney items there. So definitely, if you're a Disney fan, check it out. And then, like I mentioned and I think my Akihabara and Shinjuku videos, there's a bit camera there. So if you want to go into a massive department store, appliances, electronics, anything you can think of, there's a bit camera in Shibuya. But for my 80s and 90s kids, a must to check out to relive your old days of big hair and baggy pants, there is a Tower Records in Shibuya. You can't miss it. It is like what you would think a Tower Records would look like if you've never been to a Tower Records. And I want to say it's 7 or 9 floors of like mostly music. I think there's some books and like video games and movies there too. But it's really cool. I think when I was there, I did buy a video game soundtrack just because I had to buy something from Tower Records while I was in Japan, because they've been gone for at least close to 20 years here in America. It's been a hot minute, or at least the majority of them. It could still be open. I don't know. But yeah, if you're an 80s, 90s kid, you definitely got to check out the Tower Records. And then the last shopping place I want to point out is Tsutaya. It is right below the Starbucks in Shibuya. And it holds a special place in my heart as far as shopping goes in Shibuya. Because on my second trip to Japan, one thing I wanted to find while I was there was one of those Nintendo Classics, but in Japan it was the Famicom Mini. I wanted to get one of those because, I was lucky and I got NES Classic, and they were sold out in America, and I was pretty sure they'd probably be sold out in Japan, but I was holding out hope that I'd find one. And so the bottom floor of the store is where they have the video games and everything like that. And me, Nelson, and Sean, we're just looking around, things like that, and I come across a case, and it wasn't the regular Famicom Mini Classic, but it was the Show and Jump special edition one. It's gold and burgundy. In fact, where is my box for it? I can show it to you. There it is. I meant to have this ready, but here it is right here. You see, you got Goku right there, and completely different games than the Famicom Mini, which is really cool considering that the Famicom Mini doesn't really have too many exclusives different from the NES Mini. So this one, you got a ton of games that none of them are on the NES Mini. There's a couple soccer games, the original Dragon Quest, Dragon Ball, Fist of the North Star, Dragon Ball 3, Dragon Ball Z, Muscle Up, I think there's another Fist of the North Star game. But yeah, there are other games, and you see I'm on the, and there's gold and red instead of the red and white. So yeah, this was really cool find. And what the best part is, so I want to say the NES Mini was around $60, and I think converting to yen, it was about the same price in Japan for the Famicom Mini. But this was on sale for 2,500 yen, which in today's money, 2,500 yen would be about $16. A hell of a deal. I think the conversion rate was more like $20 to $25, I think is what I paid in American money for that. But still, a hell of a steal considering normally $60. And I'm not going to sell it, but I have seen it on sale for like $80 to $100. So definitely a cool purchase. I've only played it a couple times because everything's in Japanese. and most of the games are kind of text heavy. So it was a cool thing to try out on my first trip because on our second leg of that trip when we were in Narita, we had a modern hotel and we hooked it up with the HDMI cable to our TV and played some of it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, a cool find there. But also the store is like, it's a very nice electronic store. It's got records, Blu-rays, video games, kind of thing like that. But also I remember at the time, Bohemian Rhapsody was either just out in theaters or just out on Blu-ray. And they had actual like worn props from the movie on display in the store. They had the tank top and jeans worn, not by Freddie Mercury. I cannot think of the actor who played him, but worn by him on display, and a couple other costumes from the movie on display there. So it was so cool to be in that shop. So I'm definitely going back there when I'm in Tokyo for the second leg of this trip. But definitely something cool to check out while you're there if you want to shop for electronics or anything like that. Or just like if you go to the Starbucks, just go downstairs and see if they've got any cool displays like the Bohemian Rhapsody one. And so, lastly, I looked it up. I didn't do this when I was in Shibuya, but they do have plenty of arcades in Shibuya to check out. Tayo has a couple there, but when I was looking it up, because I did want to give like cool gamer stuff to do, there's a lot of like places to play poker, like poker dens in Shibuya that I found. Because when I looked up arcades on Google Maps, a bunch of poker places showed up. And gambling's illegal in Japan, so I wonder how they get around it. I wonder if it's like pachinko, where you pay money, you get chips, and then you exchange your chips for prizes at the end, like pachinko does with the balls. So I love playing poker. I might have to pop in one of those while I'm there, and if I do, I'm not going to record it because they probably will frown on that. But I'll talk about it if I do it. So that's going to wrap up the Shibuya video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. I hope I gave you a couple ideas of things to do while you were there. It's a really cool place. I mean, you don't even have to go there with a purpose. It's really cool to walk around there just to see the billboard. Oh, one last thing. So on my second trip there, Spider-Man, is it Into the Spider-Verse? Whatever the first Miles Morales Spider-Man movie is called. Welcome. I can't remember. But they had this really cool Sony billboard up there that it would show Miles and Gwen. And what we didn't realize at first was it was videotaping the street where you were at, like looking for him, but it did it in that cool animation style. So we were just kind of waiting to cross the street, and we're just looking up, watching, and like, oh, it's cool billboard, blah, 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 blah. And then Sean realized, like, no, it's recording us. That's us right there. And so that was just kind of really cool to see ourselves in pop art in an advertisement for Spider-Man. So they do have cool billboards, interactive billboards like that. Obviously, the Spider-Man one won't be there if you go. But I'm sure Sony Pictures, whatever they have, maybe Kraven the Hunter, they'll have some sort of interactive Kraven the Hunter or Morbius or something like that on the billboard. But yes, that is the Shibuya video. Thank you for watching. Definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We are just over a week away from the trip to Japan. So Keenan and I are going to document the plane ride there because we're staying in business class. We got a hell of a deal. Business class was less than premium class and just barely more expensive than economy on this trip. I don't know, but I'm all for it. So we're going to kind of record a little bit of that. And then, we'll be doing the game hunts. We'll be doing the bars. We'll be doing toy hunts. And we're going to do, we have a couple other videos planned that I'm not going to spoil here. There'll be surprises. So, yeah, those will be going up while we're in Japan because I did get the Google Pixel so that I can edit videos that I shoot from this because I don't have a laptop. I edit on an actual Mac. So I can edit the videos while we're there and post them up while we're there. And yeah, and I think I'll have some spare videos that I'm going to make videos ahead of time in case something happens while we're there and I can't post. So there's still stuff on the channel. So you'll be getting a lot of me in the next couple weeks. But I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be a fun trip. And now that I'm no longer sick with the flu, I'm going to catch up with some videos, catch up with some streaming. So yeah, so that's kind of the going forward for the next 2 weeks. Thank you for hanging out. I'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.